So now it's time for me to go through my yarn stash. So I know I look a little nuts, but what happens is I'm working on a project, I pull something out, I try this, I try that, I shove it back in, and after a minute, I just have chaos everywhere. So today is my day to clean up chaos, I hope. So I worked on my craft room, office room, sewing room earlier this morning, and now it's time for me to conquer all of this crazy knitting crochet mess. I have a whole bunch of these little metal crochet stitch markers. I know you're never going to be able to see this. Let's see if I can find a red one. Yeah. So I have these little metal crochet markers. Let's see. Maybe if I put it against something white, you'll be able to see. Anyway, I love these. And I bought a whole bunch of them. And I have them somewhere. But I don't crochet a lot. I mostly knit. And so I was probably working on a crochet project, and then something happened and I had to clean up, and I just took them and I grabbed them and I threw them in somewhere. And now, for the life of me, I can't find them. And I'm working on Kirk the Frog, which, by the way, let me show you Kirk the Frog because he's adorable. So here is Kirk the Frog's head. It's got a giant head. And I finished Kirk the Frog's body. I haven't stuffed it yet, but I finished knitting his body yesterday. So you can see he's going to have a giant head. And I don't even know how the head goes, to be honest, but I'll figure that out. And next I have to do his eyes, and they're going to be like two white balls, his eyes. So anyway, so I'm working on Kirk the Frog for my grandson. And so I need the stitch markers, and I cannot find them. And I looked all the obvious places. I looked with my crochet stuff. I'm like, oh, this bin is crochet. Maybe it's in here. But guess what? It wasn't. So that means that it's time for me to get organized. So I have to go through all of my bins, which I did, I don't know, like 6 months ago, but I have to do it again. I need to organize everything. And really the goal of this project for me is to get like yarns together. So I have okay, right here. I have a whole bunch of different skeins. Oh, all right. Well, these are Valley yarns, but I meant ultra wool, and I have different colors. And so they're a specific kind of yarn that I have a bunch of different colors in. And so I want to just organize that. So I want to have like yarns together, super washes together, worsted weight versus sock yarn or fingering weight yarn. So when I go through these, what I'm trying to do is get some kind of order to the chaos. So good luck to me. So anyway, so that is my goal for today. Also, when I finish a project, I end up with a basket that looks like this. So here is the leftover yarn that I used on the slouchy man's hat that I made for my husband a couple weeks ago. So now I have leftover yarn, and it's just sitting here. It doesn't belong here. I've got knitting needles that I used on that project that are just sitting here out. They don't belong here. I have some kind of weird little swatch that I was doing for God knows what reason that I don't need, and it's sitting here. And it's taking up, it's using my yarn bowl, it's using my basket. My needles aren't where they go. So you get the idea. Chaos. So today is my day that I am trying to put order to chaos. So that's what I'm doing, and you are welcome to join me, and I'll talk through any projects that I find, or we'll kind of go through together, and I can show you how. That's the good thing. I can show you how I organize my knitting needles, because actually I saw this, I think, on Facebook or some social media, and I was like, that's genius, and I've been doing it ever since. So I will show you that. So you can see how I organize my knitting needles and my cords for my interchangeable knitting needles, and and all of that. So very, very cool. So anyway, Kirk the Frog, he is my crochet project going on. Nothing to do there. So I'm going to just put him aside. This random swatch I don't need, so I'm just going to pull it out. And this will go in a bin with like leftover balls of yarn. So that's what's going to happen with that. Any kind of knitting needles that I have that aren't put away, I'm just going to put right here. So I don't know if you know what these are. And there's a name for them. And of course, I'm not going to remember what it's called. But you can buy like a little tin of them that are expensive. I actually bought a huge amount of them, which we'll find when we're going through these from Amazon, really cheap. And what I use them for is when I have something on my needles, you can actually, they're hollow. So you can put them on the tip of your needle like that. And then you can slide whatever you're working on onto this. And then you take that off. And now you're working, your project is on this instead of your needles. Your needles are free. And you can just tie this in a knot to hold it or whatever. And then when you're ready to put it back on your needles, you just put that knitting needle in that hollow of this cord, and then you just slide it back on. So it's genius. And it's really good to use for like thumbs or sleeves if you're making a sweater or anything where you need to temporarily hold some live stitches. Also, if you just, hey, I really need that particular needle, and so I want to get that off of those because I'm not working on that right now. That's also a good use case. So anyway, that's what that is. We'll put that aside. Here is my yarn bowl, which I love. One of my first purchases when I first started knitting, and I use it all the time. Love, love, love. This is going to go into the ball of yarns with this. And so I don't like to put things in that bin that are not balled because I feel like that's just going to get tangled everywhere. So I'm going to just ball it up real quick. And this yarn, in case you were interested, is Noro Silk Garden yarn. And it's so soft and lovely and really warm because it actually, let's see, it's Noro, it's worsted weight, Silk Garden, and it's 45% silk. Oh, I thought it was just a little silk. Interesting. 45% silk, 45% mohair, and 10% wool. Huh. Well, no wonder it's so warm. But anyway, I made that hat for my husband that he loves, and it definitely keeps his head warm. So it's warmer than either one of us thought it would be. So that's kind of exciting. But anyway, that's where this yarn comes from. So I just need to get this done, and then I'm not going to do the other one because I think it's enough. It's put together. I feel like this one is put together enough, and it's still in the sleeve that it's, even though I did use some of this yarn, it's not going to fall apart and, you know, tangle. So I think it's fine. But this one didn't have very much left, so I just want to roll it up so it doesn't get tangled with everything else. I saw a trick on social media somewhere, probably TikTok, maybe Facebook, I don't know, where people use like not bobby pins, but you know, like the hair clips, the metal hair clips, and they use that to hold the end of the yarn, which I thought was really genius. But I don't have any little girls in my house anymore. My girls are grown, so I don't have any of those. So it's one of those things that I keep forgetting to buy, but I think it's smart because what that does is you clip that ball right there, and then that way it doesn't come undone and doesn't get tangled. So I'm all about not getting tangled, apparently. But anyway, so that's what I'm doing there. Get that ready. Hand sanitizer, which is key. This is garbage. And I used to save all these tiny little strings, but I have learned to control myself, and now I throw them out. All right, So here is an empty basket and yarn bowl all ready for a new project. So I'm going to put that aside. Here, oh, so I'll tell you about this because this is actually also a really cool thing. This is something I bought at Joann's back in the day that is actually meant for jewelry. And so each little container has a rounded edge here at the bottom. So this is rounded. And so I don't know, like if you've ever purchased like a little container full of stitch markers, you know that they're usually square. And when you go to try to pull a stitch marker out, it gets stuck. It's annoying. And so this just comes right up because of the roundness. So anyway, I think it's genius. I keep all my extra stitch markers. This is my early stitch markers that I bought before I started using the metal stitch markers. I also have like, I don't know what these are called, but you know, you put them on your needle when you're walking away so that the work doesn't slip off your needles. I also have these kind. I have different little cute charms, like this is a little bow tie. This is a little skein of yarn. Anyway, I never use these because I feel like they get tangled and they annoy me, but I have them, so this is where I keep them. Anyway, highly recommend. It's jewelry. It's for beads, so like beading. Now it's time to go through some of these bins. So the first bin that we are going to look in, see, it is not organized properly. So this is a Toft crochet stuffy kit that was for an elephant. And it came with the stuffing. It came with everything you needed to make an elephant. I bought this when I very first started knitting at a yarn store that doesn't exist anymore. And I was always scared. It sat on my shelf for years. And I brought it out, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago. And I said, I'm going to do this now that I kind of know how to crochet. But I didn't. So I started, oh, here it is. Here's the picture. Isn't he cute? It's Bridget the Elephant by Toft. So she's adorable, and I started it and I got overwhelmed and nervous and I didn't know how much stuffing. Anyway, I got in my head about it, and so I never finished it. So that's what this is. So this is we'll call it a crochet bin. And so does it have crochet stitch markers in it? Huh, it has one. But it does not have what I'm looking for. So that's what this is. It even came with its own cute little crochet hook. And then this was me getting nervous, and so I'm like, well, I'm gonna try it first on this cotton, and you know, what I get in my head and I start trying all these things, but then I didn't finish any of it because I got nervous. This was another frog that I started. How cute is that? I don't know why I didn't finish that. But again, I got overwhelmed and nervous, and so this was kind of like, let's call it a panic bin, where I started and then I panicked. And so these are sort of works in progress, panic version. So I will get back to these. But for now, we're just going to be satisfied that the stitch markers were not in there, and that's okay. So let's see. This is a pretty empty bin. These were some, I think these were supposed to be pot holders or something. I took a beginning crochet class, and they're so tiny. And I'm like, I don't understand. Did I crochet too tight? I guess I could have kept going. I don't know. So I should put this in the panic bin, because really this is just like not finished. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. So that's something that I need to look into. And it's also crochet, so it sort of fits there. Empty bins I'm going to put over here because they won't stay empty for long. So we'll leave that one there for now. All right, let's see. This bin is all, oh, so this is kind of like my fancy cotton yarn. So I have this, God, it's so pretty and soft and lovely. Does it say, oh, organic Pima cotton? Yeah, I don't know if I'm saying that right, Pima. But this is also the same type of yarn, organic Pima yarn. So I have this beautiful purple that I love, love, love. And then I have pink, which, you know, is okay. And then I have this yarn, which is this lovely sort of lavender color. And this is a combination of 34% cotton, 35% linen, 19% lyocell, and 11% nylon. So I think that this might be a good sock yarn, maybe? I don't know. Maybe it's summer socks because it's made with cotton instead of wool. But I feel like the lyocell and the nylon is what gives it a little stretch. Anyway, I don't know what I'm going to do with this either, but anything sort of cotton. This is the organic Pima again, and organic Pima. So this is pretty yarn. It's all sort of like-minded, so I think it's fine to stay in the same bin together. No crochet markers, but that bin has been cleared. All right, let's see. What else? So this bin has yarn that I was thinking about giving away, and then I chickened out at the last minute and I took it back. So I don't know. I should probably give it away. I should bring it to my lunch group. Oh my God, my lunch group. No, I should bring it to my knitting group. So this yarn is 50% superwash merino, 30% linen, 20% silk, fingering weight. So beautiful, right? I mean, lovely, lovely yarn. So why am I going to give it away? Like, it's so pretty. I can make something gorgeous with it. But the truth is I've had it for years and I haven't made anything with it, which is why I was going to give it away. But then I couldn't let it go because it's so pretty. So that's my dilemma. But anyway, I don't know what to make with it, but it is lovely yarn. And it's, again, that cotton sort of blend. And so I have it with this yarn, which is also a cotton blend. Same scenario, lovely yarn. I don't know what I'm going to make with it. I actually won this during my very first yarn crawl. So I went to all the different local yarn stores, and this was when I very first started knitting, and so I was just like, oh, I didn't even know this yarn store existed. But anyway, so I went to a local yarn store, and I won the door prize, which was this beautiful yarn. And this is Sea Isle cotton, and it is 50% organic Pima cotton and 50% merino wool. And I have basically, is it 2 skeins? And it came with a free shawl pattern that I didn't like. So I never made anything with it. So it's the same in that I feel like it's so pretty, I don't want to give it away, but yet I've had it for years and haven't made anything, so maybe I should give it away. So that's why they're in bags, because when I bring these to my knitting group and they have balls and full skeins, I try to keep them together and keep them from getting tangled. So anyway, that's what those are. And these crazy things, actually, they should go in the other bin. This is all Pima yarn, and this is the yarn that I bought and used for that beginning crochet class that I took, where I made these silly, whatever the hell they are. Oh, that's not even one. Where I made these pot holders. That was this yarn, so I should probably just keep those together. And again, those are just balls of yarn, but they're so colorful and pretty. I'm thinking, like, I should be able to make something fun with those, right? Just make some washcloths or dishcloths or something. So that's why I don't get rid of those. But anyway, so that's what those bins are. All right, let's get rid of that. All right. No crochet markers. I'm still looking. So this is a really beautiful shawl that I started. And so this is actually on one of those cords that I was talking about. I can't remember the name of these cords, but I didn't, because it's been sitting in timeout for a while, I needed the needles that I was using to knit this. And so I put it on a cord and I set it aside, and I think, yeah, I threw a thing in here that has a number 6, so I know if I take this back up, I need to put it on a size 6 needle. But this is made with a really beautiful Cascade Yarn Heritage Silk, which is 85% superwash merino and 15% silk. So super, super soft and lovely. The shawl itself, I think, is going to be beautiful. Let's see if I can figure out which side is the right side. This side. So I feel like this is going to be gorgeous. And if I finish it, I would totally wear it. I mean, so pretty. And I love the purple. It's I usually like the really dark purple, but this is a pretty shade of purple too. I like it. But what happened here is shawls take forever to complete. And this one was kind of like, it had the pattern for this lace section. And then it was like, oh, you can add the lace section wherever you want. And so that was a little too wild and free for me. Like it was too thinking, like I don't know where to put it. Is it going to change the shape? Like, how do I know what to do? And so I got in my head about it. And I guess we'll call this another panic box. I just got in my head about it and I couldn't finish it. So that's what that is. Let's see. This next bin this was like a little package of, what do they call it? Ombre, where they do all the different color purples, worsted weight yarn. And I bought this again for a class that I was going to take. And then I ended up dropping the class. So I had the yarn and I don't know what to do with it. So beautiful, soft purples, love. Another one of those yarns where it's like they're a bunch of little mini skeins, so I don't really know what to do with it. But I do hope to use it, and I don't want to give it away because purple's my favorite color, and I just think it's lovely. This is vintage, Baracco vintage yarn, which is 52% acrylic, 40% wool, and 8% nylon. But I think it's... God, it does feel really soft. But I think it's worsted weight. Yeah, I think it's worsted weight. So it's not really sock yarn. And I don't remember why I have this, but I feel like I must have made something with it and this is left over. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that. So I just am keeping it in here because it's pretty purples and I need to find a project for it. So that's what that is. All right, so we've gone through that, no crochet markers. We've gone through this panic bin, no crochet markers. So now we have another bin. Let's see what's in here. So this is more of that yarn that I was going to give away, and then I panicked last minute and decided I didn't want to give it away. This is yarn I got when I used to subscribe to, I think it was called Knit Crates, was like a monthly where they just send you random yarn every month with a pattern. And so this came with a shawl pattern again that I didn't like. It's really lovely merino yarn. I think it looks like it might be fingering. Very soft. It's like confetti color. And then it came with a ball of yarn that is 100% silk. So you can imagine how soft that is in the same color. And so it's like, oh my God, it's silk. Like how fancy and how pretty and how nice. But what in the hell am I going to make with it? I don't know. So I almost gave it away. And then I got nervous and I decided not to. But I don't know what I'm going to make with it. But it's not in the other, because it's not cotton. So it's over here in the fancy yarn bin. So this is my fancy yarn. So this yarn, same thing. I got this from Knit Crate. So mind you, anything that I did with Knit Crate was so many years ago. And so I really should give this away, but I get nervous. Anyway, this yarn is 85% cashmere, 15% mohair. So imagine cashmere, how soft and lovely this yarn is. So I got 3 skeins of it. I accidentally, really stupid, accidentally used it to do a swatch, not realizing it was this fancy yarn. And I was so sad. And so I stopped it and I kept it because I'm like, I have to pull it out. This yarn is too fancy. I can't. So I'm going to have to undo it. I don't know. And the color's weird. Like, I don't know what to do with this color. So this is another one of those, I don't know what to do with this yarn, but it's so fancy. Like, I don't want to get rid of it. So it goes in the fancy bin. This yarn, actually, I got at my knitting group because every once in a while people bring yarn in to give away. And this was also fancy yarn. 50% yak down and 50% silk. This other one is 100% silk. So you can imagine how soft and lovely they are. But again, kind of weird colors and not a lot of yarn. What do I do with this? I have no idea. Now this yarn I actually bought. So this is teal. It's beautiful. It's Malabrigo. It's Caprino, which is, let me look. I don't even know what this is. Oh, okay. It's DK weight. And it's 80% superfine merino and 20% cashmere. So I have 3 balls of lovely, lovely, lovely yarn. So soft and beautiful. And I don't know what to do with it. I bought it because I loved the color and I loved how soft and lovely it was. And I got 3 skeins because I'm like, with 3 skeins, I can have enough to make something. And so I bought that. I have it and I still haven't decided what I'm going to make with it. Lovely, beautiful yarn. So I got to come up with an idea. This yarn I also got at Knit Crate, and it is 55% fine merino wool, 30% baby alpaca, and 15% mulberry silk. So this is soft and lovely too. And I actually got 2 skeins of this, and I made an orange hat for my husband that he loves. And so this skein of yarn is saved for him. So if he needs to replace that orange hat, I have the yarn and I can replace it. So this is actually does have a purpose. So I think I have some fancy yarn here that I need to add to that bag. Let me see if this qualifies. So this yarn I got from my knitting group. Somebody brought it in and gave it away. And I took it home. It's 80% lamb's wool, 10% cashmere, and 10% Angora. So yes, this counts as fancy yarn. So this was free to me. I do love the color. I've got 2 skeins, and it is actually top of mind of things that I want to figure out what to make with. But anyway, so that's what that yarn is. Let's see what these are. All right, so that's it for the fancy yarn bag or bin. So no crochet markers, we're still looking. All right, let's see what this is. So this is Michael's yarn, and this is yarn that I got just to kind of play around with and test different things with. Maybe do some YouTube tutorials with, because it's bright and thick and easy to see. And so I thought, you know, this might be good for that. I bought this thinking this is a pretty color and it would show up good on the camera, but because it's that velvety texture, it doesn't have a lot of stitch definition. So it turns out that it wasn't great to demonstrate different stitches. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this yarn yet. I'm not getting rid of it because it might have a use, but I could, you know, eventually maybe give that yarn away to the knitting group. But I haven't decided yet. So that's what that is. No stitch markers. And let's look at this. I think I know what this is. Yeah, so I love this yarn. So this is a whole bunch of, balls of yarn of the bamboo cotton. No, it's called Bamboo Pop, which is 50% cotton, 50% bamboo. And it is super soft and lovely. And a lot of people in my knitting group were talking about how much they love this yarn. And so I bought all these different colors because my thought was I can play around with color work and I can make something really interesting, like maybe a really fun, colorful, like beach bag or something. And I could, you know, do some different designs. Like I have some Fair Isle books, and I have a couple of knitting books that show you like all these cool stranded color work type projects. And so that's sort of what this is for when I get a chance. That's what I'm going to do. So that's what that yarn is for. Oh, look it, we got another empty bin, so yay. We'll save that, fill it up with something in a minute. Anyway, so the Bamboo Pop. This is camera stuff. Oh, I should look because you never know. I just got to make sure the crochet hooks aren't in there, but I don't think they would be. But the idea is to go through all these bins, and they are not in there, so good to know. All right, so this yarn, same thing. My idea with this yarn was to make my grandson a frog. See, I've had a lot of attempts on crocheting a frog for him, but I started doing this, and it started with the eyes, this particular pattern. And I guess we can call this another panic, like where I didn't know what to do. So this yarn is sitting here waiting for me to feel more confident with my crochet skills so that I can use this and maybe make something with it. This purple is left over from the cute octopus that I made that is sitting over there, and you can't see it and I can't get to it. So I'll show you that later. Let's see. This is just regular cotton. This I think I got free or really cheap a long time ago, where it looks like I started to crochet and I was going to make like a grocery bag or something out of it, but I lost track of where I was. This is, oh look, I have perfectly good needles on this. I should put this on a, I should take my needles back because I always need my needles. So this is a cotton, I call them like a coffee square. So these are like mats that I knit up or crochet sometimes. And we just put these in front, on the counter in front of the coffee pot. And so when we're stirring our coffee or when we put our spoon down or whatever, it just, you know, we have somewhere to put it. So we're not just making a mess all over the counter. And so I have a ton of these, and this just happens to be Christmas colors, but I never finished it. So as you can see, sorry, I should have talked about that. So I put the tip of it, it's a hollow tube. It's a hollow tube. And I put the tip of it on the tip of my needle, and it's stuck on there really good. And now I'm just pushing all of that knitting that was on my needles onto that tube. See? I'll show you. So now I can pull that off. My needles are free. And if I want to start working on this again, all I have to do is put this back on the tip, and it sticks on there pretty good. And then I just push everything back on and start knitting. So these things are really great. Love them. So anyway, so that's what that is. Works in progress. No crochet stitch markers. Still looking for those. Oh, hey. This is a crochet hook that does not belong in here, but I did start to make some kind of crocheted bag, and then I was looking at it and I said, this bag is way too little. That's not going to work. And look here's a whole bunch of my crochet markers. But again, I have a container full of all different colors, so it's not the ones I was looking for. But look at how little that is. Like, that's so silly. And so then I get in my head and I'm like, this is not, like, I'm thinking I want, like, you know, a nice size bag. So it's like, do I want to pull it out and start all over, or do I just keep going and it is what it is? I don't know. So when I don't know something, then I get stuck and it goes into a bin until I get to the point where I'm ready to make a decision. All right, so we're still looking. So this one I've shown before. This is a ball of yarn that I brought a couple years ago to go visit my granddaughter, and she was, I think, 3 at the time, or maybe 4 at the most, and she wanted to learn to knit, so she was playing with this, and she knitted this beautiful mess. So that I will keep forever like that. So that's what that is. No stitch markers. Oh, and this is the bin that we already went through. This is all Valley yarn, and I bought this specifically for this really cool pair of mittens that I saw in the yarn shop that was made with this yarn, and it was color work, really beautiful design. And then when I went looking for the pattern, I couldn't find it, and then I know someone who works at that yarn shop. My friend works there, and she gave me the pattern, but I feel like I don't know, it wasn't clear, or it wasn't photocopied well, or, you know, it wasn't something I could buy on Ravelry, and it just became hard. So you can see that my ADHD or ADHD or whatever's going on with me causes me to get paralyzed a lot. So that's what's going on there. This is another project. This yarn actually was, all of this yarn and this fleece was donated to me by that same friend who I love. And I said that I wanted to learn to do, I think it's called thrumming. So it's where, you know, these are going to be mittens, right? So I knit the wristband, and then you just kind of knit in this fleece as you go, and when you're done, you have a mitten full of this fleece, and it sort of over time forms to fit your hand, and it's super soft, well, super warm, I should say, super warm, and keeps your hands warm in a cold winter. So I really wanted to try that, and so she said, I have some, come over, I'll give it to you and you can try it. So I did. I went to her house and I got the yarn and I got the fleece and I tried it. But again, I started sort of like, oh, how much fleece do you use? You know, I don't know, I got in my head about it and I put it away. Plus, it kind of stinks. The fleece smells like lamb or sheep or something. But anyway, so this one is on hold. No crochet stitch markers. I'm still looking. All right. Let's see. This is a sweater that I started. God. Oh my God. So this is Woolies. This is yarn that I got at Joann's before Joann's closed down. And it's really thick yarn. And so I thought, well, this would be perfect for my first sweater because I wanted to use thick yarn so it would knit up faster, and I wanted to use cheap yarn because I don't know that it's going to fit, you know, or it's going to work out. And so I'm like, let's just do the first one with thick yarn, cheap yarn, and so less pressure was the thought. And I wanted it to be long, so that's why this is so big. But anyway, I forget what this is. This might be like the back of the sweater. And then this is like the first front side of the sweater. And you can see like this is the armhole a little bit right there. But then I started tearing something back, and then I lost my place. And so into the bin it went. So I hope that eventually I will be able to get back in there and get that figured out. And this bin is just more of that yarn for that same sweater. So that's what those are. So let's see what this is. So this is, oh my goodness, so look at this. So this is sock yarn. So this is all the same kind of yarn. Again, something I got from Knit Crate years and years ago. Mrs. Crosby yarn, 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. So probably great for socks. But I got 3 skeins. It was a shawl pattern that I didn't like. What in the world am I going to do with this? Sock yarn. I have all of this beautiful sock yarn, right? And so why do you have so much sock yarn, you might ask? Oh my God. And I have this gorgeous Malabrigo sock yarn. Oh, look. Anyway, I have this really beautiful Malabrigo sock yarn. I have a bunch of these different ones. So pretty. Look at how beautiful that is. Like, oh my God. And so why do I have all of this sock yarn and I'm not doing anything with it? It's because I really want to knit socks. And it's not that I can't. I have knitted them before. And I really do want to love knitting socks. But the truth is I get really bored and I don't love it. So I have all of this beautiful sock yarn with the idea that I'm going to find a way to love it and to be able to knit a bunch of socks. And so I don't know if that'll ever come true, but that's why I have all of that. And it is lovely, and I really do hope that I will try it again, because I know a lot of people that love knitting socks. So it's like I just need to do it. All right. Let's see, what else do I have? So this is leftover yarn. I bought this camo yarn to make some hats and mittens. Did I make mittens or maybe just hats? For my grandson and my son-in-law. And so I did that. They loved it. This is cool yarn, right? I mean, I'm not really a camo girl, but how cool that they have such a thing. So I do feel like I need to maybe make them some mitts or something to go with it. So I'm hanging on to it as extra yarn. I had to like order it. I had to find it online at some store. Like it wasn't easy to find. And so now that I have it, I feel like I need to hang on to it, and maybe I can make them another hat or mittens or something. But that's what that is. Still looking for those stitch markers. So this yarn is actually really nice too. I love this color purple. I love this deep, rich purple. It's my favorite color, purple. And then I bought teal. And the idea was when I bought this yarn that, oh, maybe I could make something color work, you know, with the purple and do some blue or this teal like design. But then after I got it home, I realized I think it's going to look too muddy. I don't think it's going to work well. You need to have a lot of contrast. And if I take a black and white photo of these, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of contrast. And so I feel like, All right, I don't want to do that, so now I have to find another project to do with that yarn, and I haven't decided what that is yet. So this was a hat that I was making for my husband, and it's literally almost done. So I don't know why I stopped, but this one I need to finish. I should probably keep this one out so I can just finish it. I could literally finish this in like an hour, so I don't know why it's sitting in there. So good, we found that. This is more Noro yarn. This is not Noro silk. This is Noro, it's called Kuryon, Kuryon, and it's worsted weight yarn. And I bought this to make my husband that slouchy knit hat. But when I started putting it together, we didn't love the colors that much. And so I will use it to make a hat, but I haven't decided what I'm going to use it for yet. This is another hat that I am working on. But I have to tell you that I do not do well when I am working on color work or anything complicated within the knitting group. Like I'm talking and I'm distracted and I screw it up. So I feel like this pattern doesn't look great. And so I want to tear it all out back to the bottom of the ribbing and start over. But I just haven't gotten there yet. So that's what this is. It's waiting for me to have the heart to rip it back, and I haven't reached that point in my life yet. So that's what this is. This is really cute, right? So this is the beginnings of a headband or ear warmers that I was testing a pattern. I was thinking about writing a pattern, and it's a slip stitch pattern. Totally cute, right? So this again was just practice for me, trying to write that pattern and see if I liked the way that it looked. So again, it's a work in progress. And here are my clover pom-pom makers. I love these things. I use them all the time to make pom-poms, and they do not belong in the spin. So glad I found those. I'll put them over here and we will put them away. And that's what's in this bin. So these are works in progress. So maybe I should put this back. These are all works in progress of things that I need to work on. So I'm going to just leave those in that bin. No crochet stitch markers. All right. So this bin is random balls of leftover yarn that I have. It also has some knitting needles that I bought because I was teaching a class and a lot of people came in and had the wrong size knitting needles. And so I bought some so that I could have them to offer my students. So that's what those are, and they do not belong in this bin. So I'm putting them out. The leftover yarn that I talked about, I'm going to put in here, because this is where the yarn goes when I have leftover balls of yarn. And these are all sort of worsted weight, so I like to keep them organized in that way. And there is no crochet stitch markers. These are bags. I don't know why I have these. Oh, this is a pattern, but I have a PDF, so I don't need the printed copy. These are empty bags, so I definitely don't need those. All right, this is another container of unused balls of yarn, and I don't know why I have two, so I'm going to combine these because I think there's plenty of room. And I think they all look like I mostly knit with worsted weight, and so I think these are all probably worsted weight, so they might as well all go in the same. So now we have another empty bin. just got rid of the lid. And we're going to set those aside. Okay, this bin is Ultra Wool DK. DK? Huh. Interesting. I wonder where I got that. That was probably an accident. All right, well, this is Ultra Wool, Ultra Wool, Ultra Wool, Ultra Wool, Barocco Ultra Wool. And so I have this yarn, Barocco Ultra Wool, in a bunch of different colors. So this is my bin that has like the grays and whites. So I try to organize these by color. I have no idea where this DK one came from. Typically I use worsted. And this is kind of a weird color. It's not really white. It's more cream maybe, but it almost looks dirty. Like one side looks lighter than the other. I don't know. But that's what that is. So that makes sense that it goes together. So I will leave that there. All right. So let's see. This next bin. Ha! Love this bin. Sorry. I love Malabrigo yarn. It's so soft. It's so beautiful. And in the past, I have said things like, you know, oh, I have a gift certificate to spend on yarn. I think I'm going to buy a bunch of different colors of Malabrigo because I love it so much, and then figure out what to do with it later. So that's basically what you see here. Some of these things are, you know, left over from projects that I've done, and some of them I haven't used yet. But this is all Malabrigo Rios in all kinds of beautiful colors, which I love. And I haven't used this in a while, so I know there's no crochet markers in there. So that's fine. Here is another bin that is full of Ultra Wool, and it has a bunch of different colors in it. And so the reason I have all these different colors, first of all, this Barocco Ultra Wool is a great like utility yarn where you can make it. It's great for hats and mittens and things like that, and it's relatively inexpensive. So I bought a bunch of different colors because I was working on this color work blanket called Safe at Home. And so during the pandemic, this Safe at Home blanket was a big deal, and I bought all of this yarn then. And I did start working on it, but I never finished it. But I have all this yarn, so I have gotten into it and used it for other things. But that's why I have so many different colors of that. So this bin is Seaside Snowflake ear warmers. So that's actually a pattern that I wrote and sell on Ravelry. And this is really just me practicing knitting different ones in different colors, practicing with different scale and different size, until I finally came up with the pattern that I wanted to use. So I have a bunch of these ear warmers. This one is a demo that I use in my class that shows color dominance. And so I don't know if you can zoom in and see that, but the top, you can see that the background color was dominant. And then at the bottom, you can see that the snowflake color was dominant. And so the way that you hold the yarn when you're doing stranded color work really does make a big difference. And so I kind of did half and half on this, and I bring it in when I do my classes to show people that it does matter how you hold your yarn. So that's what that is. This is a mosaic pattern that I was working on for a class that I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll sell this pattern on Ravelry. Not super happy with how this came out, but this was a tester for that. This was another tester. This is, I think this is Mosaic. But isn't that cute? It kind of looks like a little 4-leaf clover, a little flower or something. Same here, testing. These are all little testers. This was a larger scale pattern that I ended up not doing. This was a little swatch where I was testing those cubes, and so here I was doing it stocking knit, and down here I was doing the same pattern garter. So just testing different things and seeing what I like. Anyway, so that's what that pattern is. Oh, look it, I have a tapestry needle. It doesn't belong in there. So this is more, did I do this one already? These are ones I did already. All right, let's see what this one. All right, this is more beautiful Malabrigo yarn, but this is the extra chunky yarn. It's Noventa, and I have a couple of different colorways, and I have made things out of this, and this is kind of my leftover yarn. This is Heritage Aran yarn, which is thick and lovely, and I think I bought this to make a hat for my daughter. But I bought too much. I made a hat and maybe mittens, I don't remember. But anyway, I bought too much, and so this is the leftover that I had from that project. All right, let's see. So here are my crochet needles. No, crochet hooks. I love these. These are tulips, smooth like butter. They really are beautiful crochet hooks. I love them. And I found one in one of the bins, so I'm just putting it away so it doesn't get lost. This is a bag I got at a yarn haul, 2025. That doesn't need to go in there. And then this, this is my very first stranded color work thing that I ever did. So here's the back, you can zoom in. And then here's the front. Hopefully you can zoom in and see the flower. I know that the colors are really muddy. This was the first time I ever tried stranded color work. This is Arne and Carlos were doing a blanket, and so they were giving away all of these free patterns, and so the idea was to create all the different patterns and then sew them all together to make a blanket. And so I tried one because I had never done stranded color work before. I absolutely loved it. Definitely not usable because it's too muddy and you can't see very well, but I held on to it because it was my first color work and I just thought it was cool. So I still have that. I'm going to, so this bin has my crochet hooks. It should have my crochet stitch markers. It does not, but I'm going to keep this bin handy so that if I find anything else crochet related, I can put it in this bin. This is more cotton yarn that I use to make the thing. So this is, I think this is a free thing of yarn that I got from my knitting group. And then this is a cone of yarn that I got at like Walmart or maybe Joann's that I've already made several coffee mugs from. So there's not much left. All right, so this is another lovely shawl that I started working on and haven't finished. And it has some of my nice knitting needles. Let's see what size. These are probably 6s because I've been looking for 6s. No, these are 5s. 5, US 5. Anyway, this actually I really love and I think is beautiful and I want to finish it. So hopefully I will. And I don't know what this is, but this looks like, this yarn looks like it could be Noro yarn too, so it really should go in that bin where all of my balls of yarn are. Where's that bin? So that's why we do this, to get organized. So anyway, this is another whip bin, which is great, something I need to work on. Oh, this is very, very cool. So this is like t-shirt ribbon yarn, and I actually made a basket somewhere I have out of this, and really fun to do. So this is perfect for crocheting baskets or, you know, whatever. But I love this yarn, and I definitely want to make more baskets. All right, so we still have not found the stitch markers, but we're not giving up. We have a couple more bins to look through. Okay. So next bin is some Cascade Superwash in white and orange. And so this again is just for hats or mittens or whatever. Worsted weight yarn. All right, I think this is crochet. It is. So I have a couple of crochet kits that I bought at Michael's. Turned out that I just got a little overwhelmed and I didn't do a very good job. So again, another attempt at a frog. So sooner or later, I hope that my grandson's actually going to get the frog that I'm trying to make him. But I got a little overwhelmed with those again, and I didn't finish them. However, this is crochet, so I should have my crochet stuff in here. I do have these stitch markers, not what I was looking for, but they probably don't go in there. I have to figure out how I'm going to organize this. These are my extra crochet hooks. So these are like the larger sizes when you're working with the thicker yarn that I have. So those should go in with the other crochet hooks. So I gotta find that bin. This is the cute little crocheted octopus. So the first stuffy I ever completed. So cute. And so fun to do. Love this guy. Let's see what this is. All right, so here is where, this is my Tulip crochet hooks. These are the large crochet hooks. These are not the stitch markers I was looking for, but they are stitch markers that I often use with crochet. So those go there. Then we come here and we say, what is all of this crap? So we have a pom-pom, a faux fur pom-pom that has a snap at the bottom. And to be honest, I don't actually like these because you have to sew this on and then you have to sew this on. And then you can snap and take it on and off, which is great for washing. But I don't want to have to sew anything on. And also, I think this was expensive, so that kind of makes me mad, but it is what it is. This is a skeins sock, I think it's called. Oh, it is. Skein coats. And so you put this over your yarn and it holds it in place if you pull like center. I think this was a free gift in one of those knit crates and I've never used it. Here are a couple little pom-poms that I made. Some more of those tips. I have the buttons that I use when I do like a pom-pom. I'll put one of these, it's called Handmade with Love buttons inside, and I'll put the pom on the hat, stitch it through the buttons, and that helps keep the pom-pom more secure on top of the hat. And so that's what I use those for. These are just a bunch of other like tapestry needles and stuff like that. Oh, so here's from that safe at home blanket I was talking about. So here was my first little house that I made. So it was practice. And I think this is called like intarsia color work. I'm not sure. I always get, there's something else that is crochet and this is knitting. And I always get those words confused. But you can see that like the pink and the blue and then the pink window are totally separate. And so that's not stranded color work. So anyway, that's kind of cool. And then at one point a couple years ago when I was trying to learn crochet, I heard about something called Mosaic crochet, which is different than mosaic knitting, but it is a color work. And so I started practicing that. So here was a swatch that I made as I was learning that technique. It's kind of cool. And then here's another one that I made. And the problem with mosaic crochet is you end up with these stupid strings on both sides that you have to sew in. And so if you're like me, you hate to sew the ends in. So that kind of deterred me from wanting to keep doing it. One of the solutions that the teacher gave was you can put a border on it, and then you can just kind of leave that extra yarn inside that border. And so here's an example of that technique. So anyway, I thought it was cool, but yeah, it seems like too much work. I'm not that into it. And crocheting isn't my first love, knitting is, and so it just became too much for me. But anyway, that's what those are. This is probably a good place to put these. So here's some granny squares that I made earlier this year when I decided I wanted to try to get back into crochet, because I've only like dabbled in it. I've never been a total crocheter. But anyway, so I wanted to learn how to do it. So I did, this was my first one, and then I realized that I didn't do the pattern right. So I think this was my second one, and now you can see that the petals are popping out a little bit. And then finally I did the third one, which was correct, and now you can see the petals are popping out and also the leaves are popping out. And so it took me 3 versions, but I finally got there. They're all pretty, but they're not correct. The pink one is correct. And then this was me just trying a different kind. So playing around with crochet, but mainly this is kind of like a catch-all bin that doesn't really have anything important in it. And I think I have gone through all of my bins. So the only thing that I have left is the bin where I keep my knitting needles, and this is where I sort of organize everything, and so I will show you that because it is actually kind of cool. So I don't know why these are in a Ziploc bag, but these are one of the stitch markers that I'm looking for, the crochet stitch markers, which I still haven't found. These are my knitting needles. And these are how I keep organized. So when I bought my interchangeable knitting needles, they came with a bunch of different lengths cords. And then in addition, I had to buy extra cords for different lengths that I needed as time progressed and projects changed. So then I ended up with all of these cords. And it was a mess to try to figure out what to do with them. And I saw this idea on social media. I can't remember where, probably Facebook. And somebody said, oh, buy these pencil organizers, pencil pouches, I think they are. And so I bought those and I put them on a ring. And then with a label maker, I put the length of the cords. So the 9-inch cords, I think they're 8-inch, but when I measured them, they were actually 9. Are all in here. 14-inch, 22-inch, 30-inch. I don't have any right now. They're all being used. And the 50-inch. And then in the black one, I have cords from other knitting needles that I have. So like I have a Knitter's Pride, and so these brown cords are from Knitter's Pride. So anyway, these were, I think, a really great way to organize your cords and keep them all in one place. And so when it's time and I go, oh, I really need a 50-inch because I'm going to do magic loop, I can go and find them easily. And so I love this idea. I think this is a great idea. Here are the cords that I was talking about. I have a million different colors. I've given a bunch away to people in my classes, to people in my knitting group, and I will continue to give them away because I love them. They're very useful, but I don't need this many. I have a little scale that you use, so this is perfect if you want to figure out where the halfway is, like you're knitting and say you're knitting a shawl or you're knitting something, and so you want to increase the first half and decrease the second half, then you can weigh your skein at the beginning and then weigh it again when you think you're about halfway, and when you are halfway, then you can start decreasing. So anyway, there's a lot of use cases, but a little scale is super handy to have, and so I love that. I have a set of double pointed needles. Never use these. I bought these when I very first started knitting, but once I learned magic loop, I'm like, I don't know why anyone would fuss with double pointed. They're not for me. Oh, and then this is very sweet. A friend of mine took a macrame class and she brought home this rope for me because she knew I was interested. So she was like, oh, now you can try it. And she brought me little directions. So nice and so sweet. But I am so like booked. Like my head is like knitting, crochet, quilting. There's so many other things that I want to learn. I definitely want to learn macrame. I love to do watercolor. I like to draw. I have all these other things that I'm interested in. I literally don't have time. I'm also a puzzler and I love to do puzzles in the winter. No time. So I just don't have the bandwidth right now. So I have to say that I've gone through all of my bins. Everything's organized. Yay me. But I'm very sad because I still didn't find my crochet. I didn't find my crochet stitch markers, so I feel like they're just gone forever. So I'm going to have to buy new ones. So I guess it is what it is. But yay, I'm organized now, so at least that's good, right? I have a little bit more stuff I need to go through. But I think mostly I'm done. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that. And you know, how do you organize your stash? Am I the only crazy person with all these bins? Do you guys have bins? Where do you keep your stuff? Do you organize by color? Do you organize by weight? Do you organize by just whenever you bought it? I'm curious what other people do. But I have let you into my madness, so this is definitely the way that I do it. And they get messy and I do have to clean them out every so often, but you know, it's a good problem to have.